费比然毕业于布朗大学的计算机科学系，其后在斯德哥尔摩经济学院攻读经济学硕士学位。1993年加入英孚，2006年起担任英孚中国区CEO。
今天我们请来的嘉宾是一位美国的朋友 Bill Fisher, the CEO of English First. So you've started off as a computer student at Brown University. It's a long way from Brown University to Shanghai.
Indeed. But, you know, my interest in computers started long before Brown and have helped me throughout my career. And my interest in China also began long before my university education. My parents visited China quite frequently early in life and really gave me that will to learn more about it.
Really? Oh, so did they go to China together with Richard Nixon?
Unfortunately, they weren't invited on that particular trip, but they had several other interesting trips and have themselves had a lifelong interest in China that they then gave to me.
But you've been groomed very much as a computer genius since a child.
Had you seen my report card, you wouldn't think I was a genius, maybe. But my father was a scientist, and he brought a computer home to me when I was about 10 years old.
Really?
And so I was a very curious child, and that gave me an interest in creating computer programs just for fun, really, in the beginning.
Sounds very much like the old biography of Bill Gates. Very American. How do you feel living in a mathematical family?
Well, you know, it's funny. My father and mother are quite different. My father is a mathematician, got a PhD in applied mathematics, but my mother is very much a humanist, and she loves literature and the humanities. And I think actually what I've done in my life is really tried to combine both of their interests in one.
What a marvelous experience. Usually people from Hong Kong, right, they were brought up in families where the parents are a doctor and a lawyer.
Right.
So the interests all become one-sided. They become very good in science subjects, right? In arts, I think the hobby they learn later is golf, that's all.
Well, you know, my parents were very, very supportive of me throughout my life, and they really fostered in me a love of learning and a love of creativity. And I think that's why I decided to not become a computer programmer, but really try and use technology to help people learn and help people achieve things in life. And that I find much more enriching than the actual act of programming a machine. We moved as a family about 9 times before I went to university.
Fun should be a part of childhood and teenage life.
I was about 10 years old when I started programming.
So when did you start writing computer software?
I was about 10.
Selling them.
I was about 10 years old when I started programming. I got a big fat book and I started copying computer programs in BASIC on a Radio Shack, very primitive computer. And then when I was about 14, I started writing an accounting piece of accounting software for a local business in my town.
Really?
And I sold it to my boss for $2,500 approximately, including the hardware.
Really?
To him to run his business, and he ran his business on that piece of software for about 5 years.
My goodness. Must have been one of your most unforgettable days when you collect the check.
You know, it was fun to get the money.
$2,500.
It was a lot of money for a 15-year-old.
It was a lot for a teenager, yes.
Yeah, but you know, the more fun part of it was that he actually found it useful.
I think I noticed that you've been emphasizing the word fun, right? Fun should be a part of childhood and teenage life. Right.
Absolutely, and learning should be fun.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
shouldn't be a burden.
Unfortunately, it's not for most people.
It's not the case here.
That's right.
It's the case there.
That's right. Well, I think in China, parents are often forcing their children to learn things that they may not want to learn, and the educational system is also built in such a way that learning isn't supposed to be fun or entertaining or engaging. And EF is really trying to change that and bring fun and experiential learning into the classroom.
So it's a bit of a cliche to cite the cherry tree of the young George Washington and his father. So what's your most unforgettable experience during your childhood?
We moved as a family about 9 times before I went to university. So I think my one consistent memory was of leaving places and going to new places.
Packing up and move.
That's right. And that has a bad side and a good side.
How did it affect your secondary or primary school education then?
I think it made me a much better student because I was I didn't have anything else to focus on. My family was very focused on education and learning.
Did you move across the states?
We did. We moved all over the place, really, from New Jersey to Indiana, to the south, to the north, to the east and west. So the good part of that, of course, is that it gave me perspective on different cultures within the United States, different ways of living.
费比然说，他小的时候，他的父母常常搬家，那么搬家从一个州到另一个州，哇，从小就有一种接触到不同文化的这个经验，所以今天能来到上海 ，so that's why you could get used to China so soon because of this early rambling experience.
Right? I think so. I think it made me a very it made me open to new cultures and new places. And
so how did the idea of setting up Englishtown come into your mind?
Well, like all great ideas, it came through a struggle of sorts. I had taken a break from studying computer science and was studying literature and film at the University of Stockholm in Sweden.
Really?
And Swedish is a very easy language, actually, but it's very difficult for one reason, that the Swedes speak perfect English.
Yeah.
So I had very little chance to practice my Swedish.
Right.
So I wrote a computer program to help myself do that. I then thought maybe that was a good idea to do for other languages, and started working at it. And then I'm through a friend, I met the founder of EF, and I asked him it was a little crazy of me at the time since I was a 22-year-old kid, but I asked him to fund my